You spent years doing everything right, or so you thought. The supplements, the cleanses, the healthy smoothies, the snacking on good foods every few hours, and yet something kept feeling off. You were tired, bloated, maybe dealing with pain that no one could explain. I know that feeling intimately, because I lived it for over 30 years, and today I'm going to walk you through the 7 biggest health mistakes I made, mistakes that cost me decades of my life, so you don't have to repeat them. And I'll tell you right now, one of these mistakes is something almost every health-conscious person is doing today, convinced it's helping them. Stay with me, because we're getting to that one last. Let's start with number 1. At one point in my life, I was taking over 100 vitamins a day. Not exaggerating. I had a warehouse full of bottles. Every time I felt off, I'd go to the health food store looking for the next supplement that would fix me. I had chronic fatigue, terrible insomnia, arthritis. And I kept chasing solutions in pill form because I didn't want to take drugs. I wanted something natural. That impulse wasn't wrong. But what I didn't understand back then is this: supplements only work if your diet gives them something to work with. My diet was a disaster. I was doing a vegan diet at the time, trying to get all my protein from plants, and I was constantly unsatisfied, constantly tired, constantly reaching for another bottle of something. What I should have done, what I wish someone had told me, was to start the day with animal protein. Protein is how your body repairs itself. Nearly everything in your body is made of protein. Fats, proteins, carbohydrates, those are your macronutrients, your foundation. And I was getting none of it right. The practical takeaway here, before you spend another dollar on supplements, look at your meals. Are you starting the day with real protein, eggs, meat, fish? If not, the supplements are essentially going into a broken system. Fix the foundation first. Number 2, and this one is a little embarrassing to admit, I was obsessed with detoxes. Colon cleanses, herbal detoxes. I even did a gallbladder cleanse where I drank 12 ounces of extra virgin olive oil. It solidified in my esophagus. I genuinely thought I might not survive that one. I've done the master cleanse. Lemon juice, cayenne pepper, maple syrup, convinced I was purging toxins and healing my body. What was actually happening? I was flushing out my good gut bacteria along with the bad. I was disrupting my electrolytes. And the juice, whether it was apple juice or lemon or maple syrup, meant my body could never convert to fat burning. There was always just enough sugar in my system to keep me running on glucose, hungry, miserable, and never actually reaching any meaningful metabolic shift. What I should have done instead is far less dramatic and far more effective. Get on the right eating plan. Animal protein, vegetables, some quality probiotics, maybe some fermented foods. That combination would have solved more in a week than all my detoxes combined did in years. If you're tempted by a cleanse, ask yourself, does this protocol include sugar in any form? If yes, your body is never converting over. You're just suffering unnecessarily. Number 3 might be the one that stings the most because it's so universal. When I was in college, I told myself I'd eat healthy after I graduated. I was living on carbs and very strong coffee, constantly exhausted, barely able to focus, struggling through study sessions that should have been manageable. I thought it was stress. I thought it was the workload. It was my blood sugar. Up and down all day, every day, because I was fueling myself with refined carbohydrates and nothing else. My brain had no stable energy source. And here's the twist. When I did finally graduate, I didn't start eating better. I became a vegan because I thought that was the enlightened scientific choice, and that made things dramatically worse. My gut became inflamed. I went downhill faster than before. It wasn't until I discovered a healthy version of a ketogenic diet that things genuinely turned around. The lesson isn't about veganism specifically. It's about the habit of deferring. I'll start when things calm down. I'll fix my diet after this project. That logic doesn't end. There is no later that arrives. Whatever age you are right now is the best time to start. Number 4 is one that almost no one connects correctly, and I want you to think about this one carefully. I had right shoulder pain for years. I saw every kind of therapist imaginable. Chiropractors, massage therapists, physical therapists, everyone worked on my shoulder. And I also had this constant tightness under my right rib cage that I couldn't explain. It was just always there. What none of us put together at the time is that right shoulder pain, especially accompanied by that kind of tightness under the right rib, is almost always a signal from the gallbladder and the bile ducts in the liver. My bile had become thick and sluggish. It was creating pressure that referred directly into my shoulder. I was treating the symptom for years while the actual cause went completely unaddressed. The question this leaves you with isn't about the shoulder, it's a broader one. Are you treating the symptom or the source? Because those are almost never in the same place. Number 5, intermittent fasting. When someone first told me about it, I dismissed it immediately. That's nothing, I thought. Eating less frequently, that can't actually do anything significant. I was wrong in a way I find difficult to overstate. Here is what I didn't understand. Every single time you eat, you raise insulin. Every snack, every small meal, every handful of something between meals, insulin goes up. And when insulin is chronically elevated, you don't burn fat, you retain fluid, you get foggy, you get hungry again faster, and you stay locked in a cycle of glucose dependency where you can go maybe 90 minutes without needing something. Our bodies were not designed for the eating frequency that's now considered normal. When I stopped snacking, not even a dramatic dietary change, just stopping the grazing, I dropped from 211 pounds to 185. The puffiness around my eyes cleared up. The roundness in my face went away. That was insulin. That was fluid retention caused by constant eating. The practical recommendation, try 2 meals a day, no snacking between them. Give your body the time it needs to actually shift into fat burning, into ketosis, into the state where you can go from one meal to the next without falling apart. That shift may be one of the most powerful metabolic changes you can make. Number 6 was something I was genuinely proud of for years, my kale shakes. I had video after video recommending enormous kale shakes, convinced that more fiber meant more health. And for some people, some of the time, that's fine. But what I was actually doing in many cases, especially for people I was advising, was overloading digestive systems that couldn't handle it. Bloating, gut inflammation, discomfort. And the other problem, to make kale palatable in a shake, you need to sweeten it. Pineapple, blueberries, other fruits. Suddenly, your healthy morning shake is a significant carbohydrate load first thing in the morning, exactly when you want your insulin to stay low. If you're going to have breakfast at all, make it protein. Eggs, meat, fish. Something that stabilizes your blood sugar rather than spiking it. A sweet fruit and kale shake for breakfast sets you up for cravings and hunger for the rest of the day. I'm not against plants. I still eat vegetables every day. But I no longer believe that maximum fiber is automatically maximum health. Start small. See what your body can actually tolerate. Less is often more. And number 7, the one I promised you at the start, is magnesium deficiency. I want to be specific about why I saved this one. It's not just about kidney stones, although magnesium may play a meaningful role in preventing them by keeping calcium from binding with oxalates to form stones. I had a kidney stone. I wasn't even eating a lot of high oxalate foods at the time, but I was severely depleted in magnesium. And here's what that depletion was doing to me across the board. Muscle cramps, Charlie horses, years of terrible insomnia, chronic fatigue. And this makes sense, because magnesium is essentially the mineral that controls relaxation of muscles, of the nervous system. When you're low in magnesium, calcium takes over, and calcium drives contraction. Everything tightens. Nothing releases properly. Where did the magnesium go? Historically, humans got a lot of it from well water. Municipal water treatment largely removes it. Many agricultural soils are depleted of it. So even if you're eating well, you may be consistently low in magnesium without knowing it. It's worth looking into, not as a cure, but as a foundational element that many people are quietly missing. So here is where we've arrived. Over 30 years of mistakes, these 7 stand out the most. Chasing supplements while ignoring the diet underneath them. Detoxes that disrupted more than they healed. Delaying healthy eating until the right time, that never came. Treating symptoms while the real cause went unaddressed. Dismissing intermittent fasting before understanding how profoundly it changes metabolic function. Overloading on fiber while inadvertently spiking insulin every morning, and running chronically low in magnesium while the body quietly struggled to relax. When I started, I asked you to think about what it felt like to do everything right and still feel off. That feeling isn't failure. It's usually a sign that the foundation needs adjusting, not more supplements on top of a broken system. The one action I'd recommend for tomorrow, pick the single mistake from this list that resonates most with your own experience and make one concrete change in that direction. Not a complete overhaul, one change. Which of these 7 mistakes do you recognize most in yourself? And when did you first realize something wasn't working? Tell me in the comments. Your answer might help someone else reading this figure out where to start. In the next video, I'm going into the specific foods that actually address the root causes behind most of these mistakes, what to eat, why it works, and how to structure it realistically. That one is worth watching before you make any changes here. If this kind of information is useful to you, the kind that connects symptoms to causes rather than just giving you a list of things to buy, consider subscribing. New videos come out regularly, and this is the kind of content I wish had existed when I needed it most. This content is based on personal experience and ongoing research. It's intended to inform and prompt reflection, not to replace the guidance of a qualified healthcare professional. If you're dealing with specific health concerns, please work with someone who can evaluate your individual situation.